thank you for being with us. It's very appreciated. What do you do on the web?
Sure. So I work at a company called Square. So Square is in the business of making commerce easier. We started here in Canada with an offering that enables business owners to sell and to run their business. So our signature offering is something called Square Register, which is a product that enables sellers to take card payments anywhere on the go.
So with my with my cell phone, I can just slip it and then they can pay using their Visa card.
Yeah, that's right. There's a small white Square device that you plug into the audio jack and you download a free piece of software, set up an account. The whole thing takes about 10 minutes and then you can start swiping. You get paid the next business day.
My jaw just dropped. I mean, it's kind of a revolution. And what is, aside from that, what is the subject of your conference today?
Sure. So what I'm super excited to be able to talk to the audience here at Web Quebec about is it's really a story, actually. As you know, my background's partially as a historian, so I think the way that things start is often a very good indicator of how they develop and grow, and that's certainly been the case with Square. So I'm going to tell the story of how Square started, where we saw a need among sellers and merchants in the world to make commerce easier, and why we decided to get the product off the ground. But in the process of telling that story, part of what I hope to share with the audience is that you can take these very common, very ubiquitous experiences like a commercial transaction between a merchant and a seller, reinvent it and make it easier and more delightful and reimagined. And in that process of transformation, I'm also going to talk about some of the very difficult challenges that we faced along the way. I think in our story, the audience here is likely to see some very interesting parallels to some of the innovation and new technologies that they might also be working on.
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless because it's very interesting. Can you give us like a quick example of some kind of just a bit of the story that you're going to say?
Sure. So one example, part of the genesis of Square actually came down to a really wonderful story where Jack Dorsey, our co-founder, and Jim McKelvey, another co-founder of the company, were actually trading notes because Jim runs a glass business on the side in St. Louis. He's an artist, he blows glass, and he sells these wonderful blown glass art pieces. And he called Jack one day after losing a sale on one of those pieces of artwork, and he kind of explained, he said, "Jack, I can't believe it. It was, I lost the sale on this piece because one of my customers wanted to be able to pay with a credit card, and I found out it's extremely difficult for me to figure out how to get set up to accept credit cards with this business." And while they were talking, they both realized that they were actually talking on very powerful computers on their cell phones, and they asked the question, well, what would it take to solve this problem using the tools that we already have at our disposal, like these cell phones? And so in that moment, they understood the pain and the challenge that a lot of businesses actually face trying to solve the very same challenge, and they decided to do something about it.
That's it. Just like that. I mean, the need was clearly identified, and then the result came in.
Yeah, as it turns out, it wasn't that straightforward. There were a few other challenges that we had to solve to get the product pulled together as well, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But I think what's really important there is really understanding the customer for whom you are building and designing something. And for us, it's so much about our sellers and our merchants. That's really where the experience starts for us.
So you start with the basic need and with the basic human people that are behind those needs, and then you construct from that. Wow, I really like it. It's kind of a trend these days that we talk about. Let's go back to the human side. Let's go back to, and then you build a story on it. I don't know how to say it, but this is what concentrate everything here that the web is following anyway. But you have to.
Yeah, that's right. You've seen that as a trend throughout the day at the conference for sure.
Exactly. And what's the next part after this?
For Square? So we are 19 months in to our offering in Canada. We focused very much with making commerce easier for our sellers with Square Register. And I think you'll continue to see us grow and develop the offering for those customers. We're also constantly experimenting with other elements of the commerce ecosystem to see where else there are opportunities for us to make commerce easier, and I think you'll continue to see us innovating in that space.
Can't wait to see that conference. Thank you very much for your generosity.
Yep. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.